Okay, we are live.
Hello.
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 Okay, hi, hello, and welcome once again to Sembang with Carlist, episode 2. So last week, we saw our friends, they were talking about what used car they wanted to buy if they had 50,000 ringgit lah. So this week, we're going to talk about what to look out for when you go buy a used car. So to talk about that, we have our friend Mr. Cover Macho Adam. Hi, Adam. And then back due to popular demand, Miss Crystal. Hi, Crystal. How are you?
Hello. Hi, I'm good. Hi, I'm Crystal.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about what each of us we look out for when we buy a used car lah. So we will start with Crystal today. So Crystal, assuming that you're gonna go look for a used car, we know that you wanted to buy a Mini Cooper last week. So
Yes.
what do you look out for when you go look for your used Mini Cooper?
Okay. Well, as you know, for me, is exterior actually play a huge role when I actually decide on a car. So picture speaks 1,000 words. So if I actually have to do some research and look into the type of used car that I want to get, the first thing that I definitely look into is like pictures of showcasing of multiple angles of the cars. For instance, I can give an example like the this one that I found.
Right. Let's see.
Can you see? Yeah, it's red color again. That's my favorite. I'm not going to choose any other color. Red and compact, that's the way to go. And
Ah, okay. Now we can see the
yeah,
car.
you can see it now.
Yep.
Yeah. So, like all this would make a lot of decision point for me because the first thing I look into like whether there's any scratches,
Mm-hmm.
the exterior of the car to look at like whether everything looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so all this matters to me if I want to look into a used car. That's the first thing that I look at.
Exterior, okay. But
Yes.
if I may ask, would you prefer the car to be like stock standard, or would you mind if there are some minor modifications, like let's say a body kit or sports rims?
Subtle modification is something that I can accept, but anything that is overly modified, that might make me reconsider.
So a car that looks like it came up from the sets of Fast and Furious, strict no lah.
No, I don't see some kind of like, Dominic Toretto or like, yeah, I don't do that. So it's like, for me, keep it simple, looks okay, no scratches, favorite color, favorite type of car. That would be the first layer that I would actually decide. Then it will basically go to the next point of how I would actually look into a used car, which is fuel efficiency. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
All
that's
right,
for me. Yeah.
I see. Okay, Mr. Adam. So
Yo,
Crystal just
yo.
said, what do you look out for? What is your deal breaker?
Well, for me, it's always the engine. Let me show you an example of Mark 5 GTI here.
Oh,
Yeah. Engine. So
I
this
thought
is
you
the
wanted
part
to
where
say
me and Adam should actually go and look for a used car together. I'll look at the exterior. He looks into the engine because I
engine.
need help on that part.
So, if you look at this example, this engine, it's been heavily modified. That is
Ooh.
not a stock intake. It says here it's got a big turbo. Yeah, this is generally what people do to upgrade the car and get more horsepower out of the car. So KO4 turbo, it's a much more powerful turbo than the stock one, which is a KO3. So for me, I would usually pick a stock engine and then do the modifications yourself.
So you
Because
will upgrade.
because you just don't know whether the modification's been done properly
Mhm.
or something's wrong with the modification. So if you're looking for a car, I could just go with a stock engine. So it's a no-brainer.
So preferably stock lah.
Yes, and then you can go on and do the modifications yourself.
I see, I see. Like when you say modifications, you will add. Okay, let's say I mean, you already bought Mark 5 Golf GTI, right?
Yes,
Are
correct.
you what kind of modifications are we looking at?
Well, yeah, of course, everybody buys the Golf GTI because of its platform. It can go up to, I don't know, up to 500 horsepower. but whether it'll be reliable, who knows? So
I
if
think I think you just have to ask yourself that will you buy the car which you modified? Like if you
will I
sell,
buy the car, I wouldn't, to be honest. I'd buy a car that's stock and then do the modifications myself. Yeah, it looks like value for money. Someone's already modified the car for you, but you just don't know the history.
I mean,
Right.
Janji, in the end, Janji JPJ lulus lah, not
Yes,
haram modifications lah.
yes, absolutely. But there's also the satisfaction about doing your own modification. So
True,
you
true.
do that. You get to learn about the car too along the way. So
Yeah, we have one comment saying that reliable sleeper. Is this part of the modification process? Because what does that
Reliable.
mean?
yes, it can be a
Part of the
reliable sleeper, but only if you get the Mark V in the stock body. Not the one. It's got the black claddings at the black at the bottom and the color coded body at the top. So, but if you get one with like all this ABT kit and all this, then you're no longer a sleeper.
Yeah, I mean, so finding sleepers should not be a problem. A lot of cars
Oh
look
no, no.
unassuming. You
There's
can't
still
tell, especially when it comes to a car like the Golf GTI or the Mini Cooper. You just don't know what's under the hood.
yeah, absolutely, and
Finding a sleeper is not a problem, but finding a reliable sleeper now that is a bit of a gray area, lah.
absolutely,
Because some guys what they do is this term roja, so
yeah.
different parts from different brands, and some even chap ayam, and so that is very unreliable. So if you go to the proper guys who know what they are doing, and the car looks unassuming, now I think that is what we mean by a reliable sleeper. And
Yeah.
we have another interesting comment. What will Crystal modify?
Seriously? That question caught me by surprise. I won't even modify. If I look into a used car, I would want to get something that I paid the money, I got my loan approved, I can drive immediately. No more extra work. That's it. I don't do that. Sorry. I won't modify my car.
Standard itu indah lah, as far
Yeah,
as Crystal is
standard.
concerned.
Yes, I think most of like drivers that I could represent, maybe not everyone. If we look into a used car, we don't want to actually. There's a lot of other points that we already need to consider. Perhaps maybe apart from fuel efficiency, could be mileage as well and all that. So you wouldn't want to have like a big what if I get this car, how should I modify it and all that. It's not my thing.
So remember, guys, those who are Crystal's fans, especially, standard is indah. Okay. Oh, speaking of which, I haven't said what I would look out for. Right, for me, the deal breaker is the interior. For me, interior is at the top of the priority list, and because, for example, I bought a used Proton Inspira 5 years ago. It was a 2011 car, so there were so many. That is a car that is very common, but for me, let me show you my car. I mean, this is a current condition lah. When I bought it, it looked nicer. Where is the photo?
It still looks nice because it's stock.
Can you all see the photo?
Nope.
It's
No.
loading at the moment.
Loading.
There you go.
Yep.
So I bought a 2.0p. I mean, this is after my 100-kilo mass set and smashed the driver's seat lah. So as you can see, the seats that I did not sit on still look good.
Okay.
Not the Porsche, not the Porsche. This is the back seat. So when I bought it, I made sure that the interior looked as new as possible, and I also saw things like the buttons, like the control buttons on the steering wheel, and these are the things that usually show how worn the car is. Like when I was looking for my car, I saw some cars where you couldn't even see anything on the volume button. No, it's memang house, gone, worn out. And one of an interesting car I remember was Inspira as well. The gear lever, you could see exactly where the previous owner rested his hands on, faded. So it's small things like that. And I also see an interesting comment by Mr. Ashwin Kumar, the interior smell. Yes, that is also very important.
I agree. Good one, Ashwin. We all agree on that one.
Exactly.
of course you won't get what we call the bau kedai, the showroom smell. That won't be there, but when it's like going into somebody's home, you see, because that is where you're going to spend most time. So when you get into the interior, it has to be welcoming, it has to smell good, it has to look good. And when you go there, the seats are all cracked, and the volume buttons and the control buttons are all gone, and the aircon lever is all loose. You won't feel like staying in the cabin. So, to wrap that up, to me, the deal breaker is the interior. It has to be tip top. It has to look tip top.
I
Okay,
agree.
but is interior smell gonna be the deal breaker? Like everything fine and all that, then
It should
suddenly
be.
they smell. It should
Because,
be.
because sometimes if the interior smells damp, it could have been in a flood.
Yeah, that means water is entering the cabin.
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
like if it's an interior smell that it's them, that's basically like a huge red flag.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, yes.
Because like I feel like if other than that, there's always like other ways that we could cope with that. Like, there's tons of car freshener out there. I don't know how bad would the interior smell is. I just want to understand for Goku, would that if interior is that important, interior smell, is it the deal breaker then? So clearly
If it doesn't smell good, if there's no smell, still okay. But if it smells
Yeah.
like that or bad, it's a turn off.
Okay.
It's like you're going to meet someone for the first time, and there's the BO coming. So
Yeah.
it's a
But what
turn
if
off.
but
It
what
just
if
means,
like
it just means they don't take care of themselves. So
Yeah,
if
no
I
smell
know.
bad,
is better than bad smell.
yeah.
Okay. I think that's exception. If someone looks like Chris Evans and then you have a BO, then we'll be like, still, okay, not a deal breaker yet. I don't know. I'm just saying.
No,
Okay. Yeah.
Like it goes back to what you want. I mean, if you
Yeah,
don't,
but like
if you don't
you mentioned bau kedai. So what is bau kedai? Like what kind of kedai? The showroom kedai or like
how do I
kedai
explain
kedai?
this? Car guys will know what I'm talking about, right? Guys, come on, support me in the comments. The showroom smell, when new car smell, they call it.
Okay, new car smell. Okay. New car
Yeah.
smell makes sense. It's like bau kedai suddenly I just thought of like those groceries.
No, not the shop smell, no, the smell of the product when it
Bau-
leaves the shop.
Okay.
Okay, we have another question by Mr. Jonathan Adams. Is certified pre-owned a good option? Of course, it's like the best option because somebody already um, checked the car, and they will have a stringent set of tests and ways things to check, and it's like an official certification lah, by the OEM themselves, saying that we hereby like declare that this car is good to go.
Yeah, because if you're not like us and we love the Benkel life, then the best bet is a certified pre-owned car because you don't have to worry about the headaches. I mean,
Like certified pre-owned car also in terms of like spare parts to a certain extent they also warranty that, right? As compared to like non-pre-owned.
yes.
Like, people might come across with a situation that I like this car but might have challenges in looking into like the maintenance of the spare parts.
But I think most certified used cars also come with warranty, right? If I'm not mistaken.
And you can purchase extended warranty.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's like
a safer
the best
bet.
option.
Yes.
Correct. Unlike us, like Adam and myself, we are people who like to live dangerously. You see, we will find the car which has no certification whatsoever.
Because I think
And for me, it's like better be safe than sorry. That's my choice.
Don't give me a bad example.
I think it's like we like tinkering with the cars. That's what it is, right, Goku?
Yes, true.
Yes. If
And
you don't
we
like
are the worst.
Sorry?
No, we are the worst type of people to give advice. We will be like, anything you can adjust, lah, bro. No, that's what we are.
Handyman.
That's the fun of it, no?
Yep, living dangerously. And here we have another comment by Mr. Nigel, who says he will look out for handling. And of course, as we spoke about earlier, exterior and interior. So, how do you see if the car really handles well? Is you go and test drive. So, please go and test drive whatever car, I mean, your options. If you are considering like there are like 10 cars in your shortlist, go and test drive the car and see whether, because sometimes different people say different things. You will ask around, you see, and some people will say, oh, this car handling is tip top, bro. But when you go and drive, like, hey, how come It's not. So please go and experience it firsthand and make sure it meets your personal expectations.
Yeah, if you can, if possible, when you drive it, don't drive it with the aircon on full blast. You don't hear much. Just hear out for some strange noises.
True. And speaking of strange noises, they say bunyi tikus. That's the like a code word. So when you go and test drive the car, make sure there are no rattling sounds and all these squeaks and whatnot. So the lesser noise, the better it is. Don't
So
you
your
guys
car
agree?
was used, Goku. How was it when you test drove it?
My car, okay, actually, it's an interesting story how how I decided to go for the car. It's actually the number plate
Hmm.
because we have like a sort of a family number plate, lah. So my wife's car and my car, so the number is actually 9639. And when I was looking for an Inspira, I found a car which happened to be in Klang, where I'm from. So I found this Klang. The number plate was 9629. So when I saw the car itself, is this the universe telling me that, you know what, just go and get this car? So for me, the number plate, and then because of it, that car moved to the top of the list, and I went and had a look at the car, and boom, interior was tip top,
Oh,
new. The car was 5 years old when I bought it. The dealer actually knew the previous owner personally, and the car had only done about 40 plus thousand kilometers. And when I test drove it, no bunyi tikus, interior smelled good.
Yeah.
and,
okay. I'm about to ask that. Like, were there any power could die or something like that?
and also, oh, thank God, Mr. Alex Wong, he said accident history. So that also reminds me, the car had a full service record. So when I checked the book, so the car was sent to Proton for servicing every service. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that is also one of the most important things when you look for a used car is the service history. So you know
Yeah.
Right.
what has gone into the car, what work has gone onto the into the car exactly. Is it?
I think
So
how
yes,
many people have owned the car also is quite important. If
yes,
it's
correct.
changed too many hands, you can't keep track of the history. But if it's one owner, you can really try to trace the history of the car.
True, true, correct. So service history and a service record, and the less previous owners, the better.
Yeah.
See, what about mileage though? Like, is there any sweet spot, or like really depends on the decision of the buyer? Would you advise like to a certain mileage you gotta be more careful? It's just that maybe a lot more investment in terms of maintenance on it.
I think mileage, simply put, the lesser the better, lah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
the mileage is reflective of the age of the car.
Correct.
So the
Mm-hmm.
older the car, the more it needs TLC.
I
and you
see.
can and you can somewhat like gauge how much the car is being used, because you look at the mileage and then you see how old is the car, and you do some simple division maths. You know already how many kilometers this person is
Whether
clocking.
it's heavily used or it's
Yes.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Like
Absolutely.
some cars will be new, but when you see inside, and this is where the interior comes into the picture again. When
Yes.
you see the car is new, but when you see inside, the car will look worn out,
Yeah.
and
Mm.
mileage will be high. That means these are the guys who are like, no, working the car maximum on a daily basis. So
Yes.
the
I
chances
see.
of things going wrong is a bit higher, lah. So lower mileage, better. Simply
Okay.
put. All right, mileage can be reset. Yes, which is why you have to go and test drive the car and see whether it feels new, if everything is tight, you know.
But it's like quite logical, isn't it? This mileage reset thing. If it's like too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, like for example, when I went and saw my car, so I saw a car which was, I mean, on the exterior it looked new, sparkling, and then when I saw the mileage, it was already 300,000 plus kilometers.
Yeah.
And usually they
Okay.
say 300,000 is the magic number when you need to. I mean, this is for old cars, lah. I'm not sure about new cars that you have to, like, overhaul or all that. So 300,000. I mean, regardless, it's still very high.
Okay. So like looking at this, mileage can be reset. Even if I look at exterior, I believe exterior can be repaint as well, right? But what about interior? Can anyone actually like change some of the buttons or infotainment system, or can you repaint an interior? Can you do that?
You cannot repaint, but you can replace these things like from the dashboard to the door panel to the steering. I mean, if the previous owner has changed it, then good.
Okay,
But
but the price
but
point will be
usually,
different, I believe.
yeah, and usually, as far as I mean, based on my experience, fixing the interior is a bigger headache than sorting out the exterior and the
I
mechanical.
see.
Absolutely, I agree with Goku because you need to open a lot of panels and they'll never be the same again. So that's why Goku's right. Find a car with a good interior. Don't open the panels if you don't have to.
Because I mean, besides my Inspira, I have another car which is like 32 years old, and the biggest pain was sorting out. I mean, refurbishing the interior. I mean, getting things like your window rubber, that is what
Yeah.
causes your motor to spoil. So things like that, finding them is one thing, and then sometimes it won't be cheap, and then you have to find the right guys who know how to disassemble and fix them back. You see, so it's a lot of work, which is
So
why
this
we
a
can.
lot of work. I'm pretty sure if you actually look into used car, that the price point will be on different level already as compared to like maintaining it well and then just resell it and all that. But do you have a recommendation if I'm looking for a used car between the range of like 50,000 to 90,000 that
Mhm.
could be okay looking, like any particular generation of a brand or model that you're aware of fall under that range?
Oh, you're asking me to recommend a nice model
Yeah,
for
either
between.
either Goku or Adam. Like, do you, because you guys seems to be like the car boys, the car lovers. Like, do you have anything in the top of your list? If let's say you have to look into something like the criteria that we mentioned before, exterior, interior, the engine, with maybe a room for slight modification, but falls within the 50,000 to 90,000 range. Do you have any?
Very
Yes,
tricky because I think to me 50K is the magic number. You have endless choices, so it depends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really. I mean, depends on whether you want an old car or you want something new, or if you want a turbocharged, JDM racer kind of. You can get basically anything and everything, but they are usually a bit older, lah.
yeah. It just depends what you want. Do you want
Mm.
a car that's a no headache, or you like to live like me and Goku on the edge and rebuild the car? So yeah, I mean, if you like to just buy a car that's got no headaches, then obviously most of the Japanese cars are very well. But don't discount the European cars because they are good too. It's just the bad aura of them. Everyone just instantly thinks, oh yeah, European cars, they're high maintenance, blah 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 blah
More
blah.
maintenance?
Yeah, but it doesn't
Okay.
have to be like that. That's why go through Carlist, look properly. Like check out the interior, check out the engine, and you can buy a good European car.
Yep,
Okay.
and you can always come to Carlist.my. We have our trusted dealers, and when we have a Carlist bid, we have our Carlist bid inspection services. Thank you for reminding us, KY God. So we got you covered, guys. We got you covered. So if you want to use
Yeah.
them, come to us.
Yeah, for 50K, if you don't want headache, just buy the new Myvi.
I guess there's no like right or wrong decision over here. Really depends on the buyer whether you would like to fork a bit more, where you could get a better ones, but of course it will cost more, or you're more like Goku and Adam here, where looking for value for money. They don't mind actually fixing it or modifying further if it's necessary and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really
So
depends on the buyer.
if you like to live on the edge for 50K, buy a BMW.
Ooh.
Yeah, or like if I had 50K, right? I mean, thank God I was not part of the panel last week. Uh,
What will you choose? Oh,
I don't know how old this car is. I think about maybe 30, 40 years. The old Mercedes Benz 300 SLR 129.
okay, enough said. Older than me.
So it's like the 80s, 90s Miami Vice Playboy kind of car. I hope my wife is not hearing this. So that is my ultimate go to car if I had 50K. But finding parts, because it's a rare car.
Yeah. I'm like Goku. I'll try to find a rare car.
Mm.
I
Because
see.
sometimes these used cars, some people buy to use, and some look at it as a form of investment. You see? They buy
Yeah.
and then keep, and then some people they look for cars which the value doesn't drop.
Yeah,
But I
because
think,
I
yeah,
feel like
sorry, Adam, go ahead.
because like I think like me and Goku, we're quite lucky. We have a daily car that we use because I ride to work on a motorbike, so I don't really drive my car a lot. And Goku, he doesn't drive his project car a lot. You know, he's got a reliable daily driver. So if you have that choice, just go for a rare car. You
Yeah.
know,
Okay,
yeah,
right.
So
So
you have one trustworthy car and one headache lah.
yeah,
one trustworthy, the other one is like handle with care.
yeah. But
Yeah, but
if you don't, you just try and go from A to B. Yeah, 50K, you can buy a lot of new
Yeah.
Myvi or slightly new Myvis or slightly old Myvis or Protons.
Perodua
mm,
also has their certified pre-owned car, so which is quite good.
okay.
So your options are endless.
We have like people who look for exterior. We have like Goku who looks for interior. We also have like Adam who look for engine, and then like there are many ways to see. Depends on the buyer that will basically make the decision. But I think one area that all of us will agree, regardless what kind of buyer we are, is to actually avoid a car that already have like accident history,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So, is there any way that we could tell, apart from like they flaunt it saying that it's an accident car, which I think any seller would say that. But is there a way or tips to actually look at a car that has accident history?
Like when I bought my Inspira, what I did was I brought my regular mechanic lah. Okay, and usually, I mean, usually the guys who deal with car all the time, like mechanics, and if you have someone who works in the body shop or so they can like sort of like touch and they will be able to spot.
Absolutely. I mean, I did the same thing. Um, yeah, I asked my mechanic to check it before I actually purchased it. You can try. I mean, like me and Goku know a lot about cars, and we try to look around, but mechanics they'll know best.
Yeah,
Or you
like
still need the expert to
like
actually look
sometimes
at
these
it?
things like they call chassis benko, no.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Like that, and minute details like welding points and
Oh,
things
damn.
are not aligned properly. We won't be. I mean, of course, we write about cars and we claim to be experts and all that, but these are the guys who touch and feel work with cars every day. They one look they know already.
yeah. I mean, like offer the money, 50 ringgit, 100. I mean, that price that you pay them is like worth it, isn't it? Instead of
Mm,
a car afterwards.
Definitely.
okay.
So to wrap up, I mean, of course, each all of us we have our individual preferences. But what you need to do if you're looking for a used car is take everything we said into consideration. Good exterior, preferably stock, like Crystal said. What else did you mention, Crystal?
Like fuel efficiency, mileage you already advised, the lesser the better. Yeah, on those areas.
And Adam, what was your deal
I
breaker?
say buy a stock car and then do it up yourself. You'll enjoy the process of building it up.
So both Crystal and Adam are saying standard itu Winda, buy and then
Betul.
upgrade your.
Uh,
And as for me, remember, interior has to smell good. and,
yes.
and it has to look new and if can please bring a mechanic friend to check things like whether the car has been in an accident or when you drive it with things like the squeaky noises and all that. Sometimes some noises we will assume that it's normal, but when you have your mechanic friend with you and they'll tell no, this noise is not supposed to be here. So please bring your mechanic and test drive the car. Test drive, please test drive. And speaking of test drive, now unfortunately due to the
Yes.
lockdown, we won't be able to go out and let alone go see all the cars and all that. So what you can do is you can ask dealers to send photos, and sometimes photos can be enhanced as well. So what now? If you look at the Carlist, we have videos
Yeah.
for in our classified section, and if you are already communicating with the dealers, what you can do is ask them to just, I mean, nowadays phones are very changgih. iPhone cameras,
Yeah.
always cameras are all
HD.
4, I mean, about 4K,
Ah,
all
you can see everything.
Okay.
yeah, so you can just ask them to like do a quick walk around, and you can see and somewhat touch the car. And after MCO,
Yeah.
test drive, because at the end of the day, you have to feel it. Right now, do you agree with me, guys?
Absolutely. So it's like at the end of the day, for used car, I think the ultimate checkpoint is to really feel and test drive the car. But at this moment, it's like we're all stay at home, fighting this pandemic together. Even more so that you get the dealer's contact through like Carlist.my and then contact with them closely. Tell them some of the requirements that you want to look at. So work even more closer together, so you could actually finally decide on the used car you want to get. The moment this is over, you can actually approach the dealer and touch and feel the car that you've already decided.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of time at home now. Shortlist the cars that you like. Do some research. Call them. Pester them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the time, guys. This is the
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
You can do
So
so much with Carlist. You can do it through WhatsApp. You can call them. So go ahead.
we have
Yep.
got you covered. Okay, so that being said, anything else to add, dear panelists?
I think
Nothing from me.
there's
Okay,
this one
so
question from
yeah.
Abdul Hannan.
Ah,
It says, new Kia Cerato or used 2014 BMW 320i?
New
Ah,
car. I would go with new car. I would go with the new Cerato.
Yeah,
That's my
I would go with the Cerato as well.
really, but it's BMW. I mean, I
because
don't know. It's at the brand of it, but it's BMW. You
no,
sure?
because Cerato is not a bad car. That's why.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Warranty. Think of
yeah, and it's
warranty.
a really nice car to drive. So just go for the Cerato.
Yeah, I personally know two family members who own the Cerato 1.6 as well as the 2.0. The cars are like what five. I mean, these are quite some time ago, and all still so far no problem because I'm like the family go-to car guy, and the moment their car gives a problem, bro, my car, huh? So far, thank God, touch wood, I have not got that call yet. So
Okay.
I'm assuming that it's all good in the hood.
Yeah, but
Right.
if Abdul Hanan said 2014 328i, then I'd go for the 328i.
But we are not
What?
saying that the
You just
Beamer is
changed
a
your
bad
mind,
choice.
Adam. You just changed your mind. Oh, for me, because I have not test driven both, so I don't know how to tell. But I believe if let's say there's a pre-owned BMW, that will be a slightly game changer for me, mainly because of the warranty and all that. But I've not test driven both yet, so can't tell. But Adam, you just changed your mind.
Oh,
Just like
it's a 328i. It's a 328i.
okay, fine.
You have to remember, Adam likes to live dangerously.
Oh, noted. Okay, right. So,
Okay. All right. So please take whatever we said into consideration, and also we had a lot of good comments, guys. And in case we missed out anything, just drop your comments here. And as we mentioned just now, exterior engine, bring a mechanic, low mileage is better.
yeah.
So keep all that in mind. Keep hunting for your new car, new used car, whatever. Just stay at home, be safe. We will see you all again next week with another exciting topic. And don't forget, in another half an hour, our beloved Prime Minister is going to now make some
Announcement.
important
Yeah.
announcement. Hopefully.
Our cars, he needs to go out.
So fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Let's hope for the best.
You guys, yeah.
See you all next week.
See you all. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for joining,
Bye.
guys. Thanks.
For joining.